India has responded strongly to remarks made by Pakistan's Army Chief Asim Munir during a visit to the United States. In a statement, the Ministry of External Affairs said our attention has been drawn to remarks reportedly made by the Pakistani Chief of Army Staff while on a visit to the United States. Nuclear saber rattling is Pakistan's stock in trade. The international community can draw its own conclusions on the irresponsibility inherent in such remarks, which also reinforce the well-held doubts about the integrity of nuclear command and control in a state where the military is hand in glove with the terrorist organizations. It is also regrettable that these remarks should have been made from the soil of a friendly third country. India has already made it clear that it will not give in to nuclear blackmail, and India will continue to take all steps necessary to safeguard national security. We are now joined by Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, former Director General of Infantry, Indian Army. Welcome, General Kulkarni, to the show. Why do you think Pakistan's Army Chief chose to go in for the nuclear saber rattling at this point in time? And what was his likely objective in making such an irresponsible statement?
Firstly, Pakistan is a rogue state, has a nuisance value, has a geostrategic location, and has a rabid chief of the army staff who seems to think that this is the only way he can take charge of his own country. And what better than now when he feels emboldened that the United States is with him. And this is the second visit of his in about a month's time. And both times, first time he had a meal with the president, now he's having a meal with the taking over ceremony of the Central Command. So all these kind of things, probably he seems to feel that he has been defeated, and that defeat, though of course his nation has made him a field marshal, in his heart of heart he knows that they have to come on their knees in less than 90 hours. They don't know what has hit them from where. And it is this kind of a feeling which has somehow now it started sinking into Pakistan. And now Pakistan seems to realize the only way now is to call out this thing that, well, look, if the Indians construct a dam, we have 10 missiles, we can blow up the dam. We will not let, if anybody uses us, we are a nuclear nation, and we'll take half the world with us. All this being said on the American soil, I again repeat, sincerely hope that the Americans take cognizance of these kind of statements being made by Asim Munir, not for any other reason. America firmly believes in disarmament. Here is the American president trying to bridge in the gap between Azerbaijan and Armenia. At the same time, you find Asim Munir making these kind of statements. I think they're somehow feeling very uneasy. The defeat has now started sinking in that all the blocks, the nuclear bloc and the other blocks, that probably the victory is what has promoted him to becoming a field marshal, but he knows in his heart of heart that 11 of his air bases have been destroyed very badly. A lot of his aircraft have been hit. A lot of the radars have been hit. 20% of the Pakistani Air Force is disabled. He knows those 9 terrorist locations have been hit. There is so much of pressure coming on him from the terrorists, and because Pakistan is using terrorism as an instrument of state policy, all these proxies are none but the Pakistani proxy elements, all these terrorists, whether it is the Jaish-e-Mohammed or Lashkar-e-Taiba or Hizbul Mujahideen, it is this kind of a feeling that Pakistan somehow feels that this is the time that they could pressurize India or be able to tell India or give these kind of wild statements, paper rattling, say anything and everything, and knowing fully well that nuclear is not a thing to be spoken like as if they are firecrackers or something. What if it falls into, let you know, the command and control of the nuclear setup in Pakistan? Probably it is not in the hands of Pakistan itself. You never know whether it is in the hand of terrorists or is it in somebody else's hand. God alone knows what's going on in Pakistan at this point of time. But surely it gives a feeling that it's a one man who now calls the shot, and that shot is Field Marshal Asim Munir, and even Shehbaz Sharif seems to have been totally left out. I don't think this kind of a power sharing in Pakistan will last too long. And definitely the Pakistanis themselves, with Imran Khan not seeing eye to eye with the Chief of the Army Staff, the Chief of the Army Staff wanting to become probably the President of Pakistan. And in this kind of catch-22 situation that he's in. And he feels, my personal reading is, he feels emboldened that the United States seem to have given him a meal. The United States have called him over again, and that they have given the highest award to General Kurila, giving him imtiaz, all these kind of things. Right? So probably uneasiness, feeling guilty, and the loss is now started sinking in that Pakistan has actually lost and not won what they seem to be spreading a false narrative among their population that Pakistan seems to have. So everybody sees 11 air bases hit so hard. Don't the Pakistanis see it's not a country too big to be seen. Everything is visible to every Pakistani. It's a heavily populated country. So it's too much of guilty conscience fixed the mind. That's what I would call for the rabid Asim Munir.
Okay. General Kulkarni, a word on India's very measured, controlled, responsible and fitting comeback to Pakistan's highly responsible statement.
India has always been wanting to have good relations. And what India at this point of time, even the statement is very, very balanced, would definitely feel that it's coming from a very friendly country's soil. That is something which I think even anybody would feel bad. At a point of time in a country which has good relations with India, a country which is wanting to have better trade relations with India, strategic partnership with India. We have over the years built such good relationships, and the president himself very keen to get Nobel Peace Prize, a president who's keen to ensure that there is no war in the world over, is more inclined towards peace and getting the countries together. Whether he succeeds or not, but his attempts have been there, which is a very good sign. And from that country, you have someone speak like this. Obviously, though of course we have this thing. We are not going to get ruffled by the saber rattling of Asim Munir. But notwithstanding that, we have to be careful. We have to be cautious because one doesn't know the command and control structure in Pakistan as to who is the one who actually calls the shots in Pakistan. Is it the chief of the army staff as of now, or is it some terrorist organization, breathing down his neck to say what he's saying? So I think our statement has been very measured that Pakistan uses terrorism as an instrument of state policy. Pakistan's saber rattling will not trouble us, and that's being made from a foreign soil. I think that is what hurts definitely, and is something which is disturbing, and very measured, very a statement by the NEA, which is, I think, should convey everything that it is Pakistan and the rabid chief of the army staff of Pakistan Army who seems to be making these kind of irrational statements.
Yes, the international community can draw its own conclusions, as was also said in the statement. Thank you very much, Lieutenant General Kulkarni, for being with us on DD India Live.